Hi, I'm Javaune Simpson and welcome back to Speak Up. Now for today's topic, you would have already seen the topic, and perhaps that's one of the reasons why some of you might even click it and say, "Yeah, go watch it," because you want to hear, my opinion as it pertains to why I think that perhaps sex is overrated. But yeah, but in order to actually get to that point, I think I really need to get to a backstory first, so you can better understand where it is that I'm coming from on this point. So, in about primary school, and yeah, we'll go right back to primary school. I could even go back to basic school, No, go to primary school, stay at primary school, right? So, in primary school, around 6th grade, thereabout, we had persons in our age group, because in primary school, it was like what? 10 to 11 years old, perhaps. Some persons were 12. So in primary school, there were persons that they were sexually active, right? I guess there's no other way to say it other than to just say it bluntly. Like, there are persons that were sexually active, and I remember persons that in which I'm speaking about specifically currently. I remember, well, two of them at least, they actually had, well, at least one for sure. One had a boyfriend that was about 22, 23, thereabout, and she would often talk about her boyfriend and talk about her sexual experience and all these things. And though we knew as 6th graders that this is like a long way off, like we knew that it was something that we're not particularly ready for, or we're not allowed to do, but nevertheless, she was, just telling us about her sexual experiences, and I mean, don't mind if we take part in the listening process, like we were there, like all ears and even eyes, because yeah, it was pretty intriguing, pretty interesting at the time, and so we gave a listening ear, right? So, to add to that, there were other persons as well that it was obvious that they were sexually active. As a matter of fact, there was this one girl that, there was rumors going around about how easy it is to get sex with that individual. But me and my brethren them know say I know I think that Furthermore, we not go as we would call it back in those days, dugu dugu. We not go to them things there in weird places and all these things. So we held off, right? We held our own, to be honest, despite the influences there. Moving on to high school, sorry. So in high school, I got to high school when I was about 11 going on to 12, and I was in this program, a journalism program. Shout out to Partners Caribbean, and shout out to Eve for Life as well. So those two places or organizations taught me a lot of the things in which I do know, as it pertains to advocating, as it pertains to sexually transmitted infections and sexually transmitted diseases. These things, a lot of them are like my mentors, to be honest. And so they were the ones that actually exposed me to the knowledge of most of the things in which I know now, right? So I don't know. I feel like I'm talking too much as it pertains to it, but this story is important, guys. I have to talk it before we get to it. So in that time, I was pretty much aware of the sexually transmitted diseases out there and infections, and so that was one of the reasons that that was one of the most important reasons that actually held me or kept me away from indulging in sexual activities, right? And so in going to high school, you're gonna mix up with one bag of different people, right? People that there were guys that were there were talking about how they were, highly active as it pertains to sex and talking about their experiences. And at that point, I was able to understand that some of these things in which they were talking was just foolishness, because I was already exposed to the correct knowledge. as it pertains to even condom use. So some of them would be like, yo, me wear 2 condom in a dog, cause yo, me no want to get pregnant in a dog, or me no want to catch nothing dog. You understand me? And so I was like, yo, that don't make no sense, because if you use condoms, then if you use 2 condoms at once, then there's a higher risk of there being some sort of friction, them being some heating up, or the rubber rubbing together, and of course causing friction, of course, and perhaps bursting, right? Or popping, or bust, or what else, tear, or those words, right? So I was able to say things like that, and persons were like, yo, so but you say I'm virgin, so how you know them things here? And I was like, well, no, we know them things here. So even after that, I was able to talk to other persons about sex and all of them things, and what them must do and what them not for do, and all these things. And persons were like, you sure you're a virgin, Javaune? Like, how you know them things here? And I was like, just no, man, like, I think I told some of them, why it is that I knew these things. Firstly, the journalism program, the advocacy programs and all these things. Also, my mother, big shout out to my mother. My mother is one of those parents that, she rather tell me no when me younger, rather than allow uneducated persons out there to tell me, tell me in their perverse ways, rather than big man or big man draw me aside and say, yo, I saw you do it, dog. And my mother was like, no, she gonna be the one to tell her son about sex. And I really do appreciate that. Like, that's something that if God blesses me with children, I will be passing that on to my children from perhaps even a younger age. Like, because in this day and age, that's something that we need to talk about. Gone are the days when we should have it as a taboo topic. It shouldn't be a taboo topic anymore, because we have young people out there indulging in sexual activities, and it's perhaps because they weren't taught about certain things, certain sexually transmitted infections, diseases. Nowadays you have persons just them fear pregnancy and not necessarily STIs and STDs, you get me I say. Some of them are promiscuous because of perhaps things that have happened to them in their years. Some of them have been raped, abused, and so that leads to promiscuity. But at the end of the day, aside from those reasons, you have persons out there that are just curious, and their curiosity leads them into just having sex, right, and doing it in terribly wrong ways at times, right? And so we just want to try and redirect them, and that's the reason why I even do this thing called Speak Up. I want to talk my personal experiences so persons can learn from it and move on. It doesn't really matter if anybody wants to criticize me personally or criticize my method of doing it, but I believe that it needs to be done, and even if it's going to be by a 8-year-old Christian, such as myself, it has to be done. You understand me? And I think it's time that we don't shy away from this thing and just confront it as best as possible. So continue with the story. I had opportunities at a time when I was about 13, 14, 15, them time there, to have sex, and so I turned it down. I remember one specific time, I had this opportunity to have sex with this girl, pretty girl, look good and everything. And I think it was just before I took my first trip to the Big Apple, to America, and that's when I met her actually. And she was already sexually active, and I think that this young lady was just broken inside, just analyzing it. Like, even back then I knew that she was broken, because I was even helping her to get herself together, and somewhere along the way, we liked each other. Well, I liked her. I don't know if it was due to her being broken and me just being kind to her while she actually liked me, or what, I don't know. But she liked me at the end of the day, and then we decided that we were going to date each other. And it didn't last long, because I did have the opportunity to have sex. However, I chose not to, and I don't know if that's the reason why the relationship was no more or what. But I just didn't want to go down that path, especially with somebody that was already sexually active. I didn't want to take that risk one bit. I was scared, to be honest. I was scared, right? And so moving on now to other years, when it actually happened, I didn't actually break my virginity until I was like 18. Well, 18, yes. So upon, I won't say which period of my life, because I don't want anybody that don't know already to just for the privacy of the person, not for me necessarily. I really don't care for myself, like, I mean, for the person, right? So I was 18 at the time, so if you can guess which grade I was in, yeah. We were together, and to be honest, I believe that this girl would have been like my wife or something, you understand me? And so I was in love with this girl. I believe that she was in love with me at the time, and so I was like, yo, why not? I mean, I've been saving this for the years, and many persons have been surprised of the mere fact that a young guy has saved his virginity, especially in my guys. I mean, it wasn't that hard either, because as I say, I was scared to the point where I didn't want to indulge in it, and so being scared and just being conscious about my actions and my decisions, had me deciding that I didn't want to do it, and that's one of the reasons why I actually thank my mother and my mentors, because them providing me with the information made me empowered enough to know whether or not I actually wanted to take part in this at this specific time. Like, it wasn't running away. That was one of the things that they would say to me a lot. It's not running away. When you leave high school, it's going to do the same way. When you get married, it's going to do the same way. You understand me? Unless God come and take back the world, before you get married, then it's not going anywhere. So, and I was like, so why I need to rush? I need to rush. And I just took my time. I mean, I was taking part in kissing and hugging and all them things then, But other than that, no sex, right? And so when I became 18, on the verge of becoming 19 actually, I did indulge in the sexual activity, in the sex, and after that, like, I was like, what is like this? I don't. At this everybody I create excitement about. You understand me? And I mean, it happened again, and so even after that, like, I think the second time was even more, like, was really like not much to me, to be honest. And that was just me being that's just me being honest with you guys. Like, some persons out there might be like, yo, Javaune, probably because you never really do much, or probably because she never do much, or whatever it might be. But that's beside the point. I was like, I'm like, yo, as it pertains to the fulfillment of it, I'm like, yo, it's really not worth it. When you when you compare it to the fact that you're risking certain things, you understand me? Like, it's really not that worth it, to be honest. And so that has led me to the decision, or to the opinion rather, that it's really overrated as it pertains to outside of marriage. Now, as it pertains to inside of marriage, I'm well aware that God created this thing, and it's going to be awesome, because to be honest, after those two experiences, I had a third experience, and it was pretty cool, right? It was pretty cool. I should say that it was pretty cool, right? But at the same time, it still was not worth it. And the reason why I would say that now is because this is where another story comes in. There was a big scare after that experience. Like, for some reason, I thought that girl would have been pregnant, and I was, fret, start fret, listen, man, I read a prayer, I put on, like, I prayed, and in all honesty, that was like, after becoming a Christian, and so experiencing that, I was like, yo, God, I don't want to do it again until I'm married, God. Like, I believe I made promises to God, and over the years, even though I've been tempted, it has been, maintained. So shout out to God for that. Like, and God plays an instrumental part in that. Like, as long as you keep God in the mix of it, like, guys, God will help you if you keep it, like, because I know me, I can't say it's me. Like, I've had so many I was going to say moodful days, but I've had so many days where I felt like just giving in, and like Mercy said, no, I'm not letting you go, type of thing. And I was like, no, God, let me go now, let me do my thing. And then, like, it never works out. And after, I've been grateful that it hasn't, because I don't want to be in that position where I'm regretful and feel terrible about myself and feel terrible that I actually, bring somebody into my sinfulness and all these things. So, like, yeah, I mean, that's what led me. So, I mean, it kind of bring me to the end of the story time. I hope you guys actually enjoyed it, but that's what led me to the opinion of, sex can be very much overrated, when it comes to doing it outside of marriage. Now, inside of marriage, I can just imagine, how awesome it will be. Like, my wife probably, I hope she pop my collar after, like, yeah. But until then, guys, until you've reached that stage or reached that point in your life, I think you should just leave it, let it be. You understand me? Like, try and indulge in it, just save it, just abstain, just maintain the purity. And if it is that you have already indulged in sexual activities, then you can always stop right where you are. And if it is that you're with a boyfriend or a girlfriend that they are already used to having sex with you and all these things, you can lay down the option before them. It's either we're gonna stay together until marriage, so you can indulge in sex again, or you're just going to have to break up. I think that's what it comes down to, because sometimes we indulge in sexual activities, sometimes we indulge in sexual activities and it eats us alive. Like, and not only sex, like sometimes we indulge in just sinful actions. Even me, I can say that personally. Like, even now, like I can indulge in sexual not sexual sinful adventures, right? Indeed, is an adventure. can indulge in sexual. Jeez, want to me on sexual. That's because sexual a topic, right? So yeah, I can indulge in sinful adventures and be regretful of it after, and it eats at you. Like, so it don't make no sense. It's like, it don't make no sense. Might as well just wait until after marriage you indulge in certain things. And I've met persons that have said to themselves that not even kissing them not take part, And to be honest, like for me personally, I don't hold that for myself, but I respect persons that do that, So shout out to you guys, because you know yourselves, you know how your body set up, and what gonna lead you down a certain path. And so it's just for us to acknowledge these things and represent ourselves well, and make God proud away at the end of the day. So yeah, that has been my bits and pieces. I mean, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you actually got some, I'm gonna say some strength from it. You understand me? Like, learn from my foolish advice. Like, sex is kind of overrated, right? And outside of marriage, right? And it's best for you to just wait until marriage. Yeah, so this has been Speak Up with Javaune Simpson. Much love. God bless.